Hey guys, it's Darwin, and it has officially been 5 years since I shot, directed, and produced my first documentary film, Through the Great Southwest. A film that's about the history, the geography, and the amazing community that makes up the 800-mile Arizona Trail. Today, I want to finally share it for the first time ever in its entirety here on YouTube. For everyone that has supported the film over the past 5 years, I cannot thank you enough for your beautiful support. And to everyone that's just now experiencing it for the first time, I hope this film inspires you to get out on an amazing life-changing journey like thru-hiking the Arizona Trail or spend some time volunteering for your local trail association. Again, I cannot thank you guys enough for the past 5 years, and please enjoy. I first fell in love with the Grand Canyon State in 2016. I had just finished the Appalachian Trail and returned to the Southwest to start looking for trails to do in my new backyard. What I would discover was an 800-mile national scenic trail spanning the entire state of Arizona from Utah to Mexico.
The Arizona Trail is still one of the best kept secrets, both in Arizona, in the West, and in the world. The Arizona Trail is unique because the places that this trail goes through, it's so biodiverse. That's something that we hear from anybody who spent time on the trail is, I had no idea how tall and dry and lush and rich and incredible Arizona really is. And so the trail really kind of shows off all the different sides, and it goes through kind of like the wild backbone of the state.
There's everything from the low desert to the alpine forest, all the way up on the San Francisco peaks. So there's a lot of different types of country to see, different animals.
The Arizona Trail, like so many other long-distance trails, started with one person. Dale Shewalter was his name. He's a Flagstaff area school teacher that was working as a surveyor in the mountains of southern Arizona. And when he wasn't surveying, he was exploring on foot and on horseback. And because the early development of this trail happened in the 1980s, that's when mountain biking had developed in the US, first in California and then spread to other states in the West. So mountain biking was also something that interested him, and it became part of outdoor recreation in Arizona around that time.
He knew a little bit about geology, and he loved Arizona. And he actually hiked through Arizona on what became basically the Arizona Trail before it was there.
As he was on top of a mountain in southern Arizona looking north, knowing that there were trails in the Catalinas and trails in the Rincons and trails in other places, he thought, wow, what if there was this connecting trail between all these mountain ranges? And then eventually to the Mogollon Rim, and eventually to Flagstaff and Grand Canyon and all the way to the Utah border. That's when he had this idea of the Arizona Trail. What if we could build a trail from Mexico to Utah, linking together existing pieces of trail, having it open for hikers, mountain bikers, and equestrians? Like, wouldn't this be amazing?
He got some friends together and they all thought it was a good idea. And then he met with some land managers and he presented a plan to build an Arizona Trail. His friends supported him and the Arizona Trail Association was formed, and that made it official. People began to come out, and it was pretty disorganized in the early days, and people just threw tools in the back of their car and got the land manager to tell them where they can go and work on it. But it got better and more organized as time went on. The goal at that time was to complete the trail by the year 2000. In spite of the best efforts, we weren't able to finish it by the year 2000, but we did finish it by the year 2012 to correspond with Arizona's 100th anniversary. It's an idea that took off and people could believe in it and supported it.
It takes, I think, a true visionary to take something from dream to concept in a single lifetime, and that's what he did. He rallied support from the Forest Service, who he worked for seasonally. He rallied support from state parks and the Bureau of Land Management. Everybody he could get a meeting with, he said, here's my idea, and I'm starting to put together the route. And everybody jumped on board with it. So in a way, the timing was perfect, and it was just a really nice combination of energies that without his vision and support, it probably would have been just another really cool idea that would have gone nowhere. And the task is daunting, but that's something that never deterred him. He knew he would get done eventually. Sadly, he passed away right before the trail's completion. He died of cancer at a young age, unfortunately, before the trail was completed, about a year before it was completed, but he knew it was almost done. Even though he wasn't involved with the association much anymore, he saw where his dream had turned into a nonprofit organization that then hired staff and raised money to get the thing done.
The Arizona Trail is so diverse, and I think the only way one can really imagine this is by hiking it. I think most folks come out here and think that it's just going to be a desert, and then when you're climbing right out of the Mexican border up to 10,000 feet on Miller Peak, up to one of these sky islands, you realize how different this is going to be.
They're just mountains in the desert area that reach to the sky, so they call it sky islands. You go up above 9,000 feet in the Huachucas, and you back down again, and you up again in part of the Santa Ritas, and then the Rincons and Santa Catalinas, they're all sky islands, so you wind up at a low spot going high and back down again.
The first 300 miles of the trail is Sonoran Desert, so the Sonoran Desert is only right here. That's it. That's not anywhere else in the world. It's northern Mexico and where we are right here in Arizona. So saguaro cactus, a lot of unique plants, the Gila monsters we were talking about, the rattlesnakes. It's pretty raw and edgy, and it's just gorgeous in its own way.
You know they're coming, but you kind of see that first saguaro up on the hill, and you're like, hey, we're in saguaro country, and then all of a sudden it's just like they're everywhere, and they're all very unique. And yeah, they're just cool. They're gonna become your best friends out there. They did become mine.
Easily one of the most underestimated and probably my favorite section of trail is climbing out of Saguaro National Park up Mount Mica. I love how you get a taste of the pine forest around Manning Camp before dropping back down to the desert floor.
The stretch from the Gordon Hirabashi trailhead all the way over to Primero Pass on the other side, through the East and West Fork Trail, cutting across the Santa Catalinas is some of the most beautiful terrain there is to be found.
I really loved all the stuff around Mount Lemmon. South of Summerhaven was incredible. It's just such huge boulders and such major diversity.
It rains more in the Sonoran Desert than other deserts, and so it's a lot greener, a lot more bush, so it has a lot more, I think, greenness to it. It's not just sand.
Of course, most people think it's a harsh desert, but the kind of stuff that lives out there and can survive that kind of environment is just absolutely amazing and vivid in color.
It's otherworldly, and the wildflowers out there just pop. I've always been a naturalist. I've always really enjoyed identifying flora and fauna, and it was really awesome to get out there and just look around and go, man, all of these things are alive, and all of these things are here.
The African daisies are out, the gold poppies are out, all of these beautiful flowers, so it's just all colors, and that adds a lot to it to me.
The Gila River canyons between Superior and Kearney or Kelvin or the Gila River. It's a real special place. I've been here 40 years and never got out there except on the Arizona Trail. It's almost like a miniature Grand Canyon.
He goes about 16 miles east-west along the Gila River, and then you turn due north and go another 16, 17 up to Picket Post Mountain. And it is the most severe, most rugged, most gorgeous section. And I love it for its tooth. It's like those puzzles my dad used to build. This incredible country. When I was a kid growing up in Michigan and stuff, I thought the desert was like rolling sand hills and stuff. And no, there's a lot of plants and life and stuff. That discovery of that part of the trail is really neat. I've been out here 20 years. it never gets old. To somebody that hasn't seen it before, it's pretty cool.
Going up into the superstitions, I think, is one of the prettiest passages. You get some desert, you get the mountain, great rock formations, great views. It is so beautiful. And when I'm out there hiking and I run into hikers from all over the country, all over the world, the first thing they say is, one, we had no idea that we were going to go into mountains and all this, and then how beautiful it is. And when you just hear that all the time and you experience it, it does your soul good.
That's another really beautiful stretch, is the Mazatl Divide, headed into Pine. There's some breathtaking views. You get to see, I've driven that highway a million times, but to see past the Mazatls off to the west was outrageous.
It makes for one of the most beautiful sections of the trail, because you're finally on the Mogollon Rim, and it's just flat walking through this beautiful ponderosa pine forest for 100 miles.
The trail winds through the Coconino National Forest on its way to Flagstaff before starting the climb to the highest point of the trail, skirting Mount Humphreys. Then you make your way through beautiful aspen groves before dropping down from the San Francisco peaks back to the Colorado Plateau.
There's really no geologic indication that a giant hole in the ground is coming. So like you imagine being a pioneer, an explorer of the time, if you will, and having all this easy trekking, and then all of a sudden getting to this massive hole and being like, what the heck do we do here? You go down the South Kaibab Trail. It's absolutely gorgeous. There's a few scenic points the whole way down. Ooh-Ah Point being the first one, which is really, really great. And then you get down to this place called Cedar Ridge, where it kind of plateaus. That's also beautiful, and you start to see like the inner gorge of the river. You really start to get a feel for the layers in the rocks.
Where Bright Angel Creek flows into the Colorado River is where you enter a geological layer that is like nowhere else on Earth. And from there all the way to Ribbon Falls, which is about 7 miles, is really some of the best trail I've ever been on. I think being able to look up thousands and thousands of feet through billions of years of history is overwhelming in a really beautiful way. And so I'm really proud that the Arizona Trail goes through Grand Canyon National Park.
Even as an experienced thru-hiker, it's a powerful place, and it's always very rewarding and humbling coming out and finally being on top of the rim.
The Arizona Trail is constantly changing. It's like different elevations, different level of maintenance. It's always kind of in flux. I like that there's kind of a hiking version and a biking version, and it's more inclusive. They're trying to make it available for riders. They're trying to include more different kinds of people. And then just how, the scenery is just changing over the course of the trail. It's not that long, but it's like from different images, you wouldn't even think this was in Arizona, and I think that's really cool. I think when people think of Arizona, they think of kind of like Tucson, Saguaro, and it's way more than that.
I remember the day I decided to hike the Arizona Trail. I was out on a hike. I was talking with my friend John about his hike across the PCT, and hearing about his highest of highs and his lowest of lows and the things that he saw and the places that he went, it really got me thinking about how I wanted to go and do something like that. There's so many moments where you really feel like you are alone, and then there are so many moments where you really find that sense of community. I did meet a lot of hikers and a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life. I met Triple Crowners, I met Appalachian hikers and Continental Divide hikers, and every time I told them, yeah, this is my first, and I just live a couple 100 miles from here, it was always really good to feel like I was part of a bigger community. And that's one of the things I've always really appreciated about the thru-hiking culture. It was really awesome to hike along and really feel like I got to see every aspect that the state has to offer. I got to see the lowest of low deserts and the super awesome sky islands, and the super snowy San Francisco peaks and Mount Humphreys, and you know, hike through the forests. And so it was really cool to see how different and diverse it can be. You know, 800 miles is a shorter distance. The terrain is tough, the water situation is tough, the exposure is tough. The views are amazing. They're worth every stinking minute. You know, every one of those adventures, every one of those things I ran into. There are so many wonderful, scary, beautiful things to be found. It's where I feel the best. It's where I feel the most at home. As I've seen the completion list on the AZT website grow and grow and grow, it really gets me excited for the next generations of Arizona Trail through hikers.
So my name's Leah Wilcox. I started riding the Arizona Trail in, I think, 2011 or 12. I came back to the trail in 2015 actually for a video project to set a time trial speed record on the trail. I was just like so overwhelmed by how hard the riding was. I did the hike through the Grand Canyon with the bike on my back, which is part of the requirement of riding the Arizona Trail. You can't have your wheels touch the ground through the Grand Canyon. I ended up getting really sick, kind of near Pine, had to bail on my ride, and then spent a few years kind of away from the Arizona Trail, and actually came back to it this fall to hike. And for that stint, I hiked Flagstaff to the Mexican border, and it was awesome. You know, it's really a different experience hiking versus riding because there's so much wilderness on the route that it's almost two entirely different routes. So I think really for any rider, they should also go out and hike it. It's really worth like taking different approaches to the route.
My name is Jeff Garmeyer. My trail name is Legend, and this year, this spring, I'm trying for the Arizona Trail self-supported fastest known time. I'm gonna do my best to try to break the overall time, which is like 15 days and a few hours. So I'm hoping to do about 50 miles a day and do it in about 14 days. So we'll see what happens. Well, here is the Mexican border and where it all is gonna start. My mindset on this FKT is going to be to just focus on the day that I'm in and just see what happens. Try not to worry too far in advance. Just do the best I can each day when I'm in it. I just have one little tiny hot spot on my toe, so I got to deal with that. But nothing major, legs feel pretty good. Fired up. I don't know if I'll be able to sleep. It's been a good day. Day number 1. Out here having a great time. Well, the balls on my feet, they are hurting. I'm using quite a bit of duct tape each day. Other than that, my legs are just tired. It's just been hard. It's just been really hard. It's day 8 and I am nearing the halfway point for this FKT attempt. Man, it has been just really hard to stick to this grueling schedule of averaging 50 miles a day. My feet hurt with every step. This is definitely what I signed up for, but wow, it is harder than I expected. Damn it, my feet hurt. I just resupplied out of a vending machine, so that should hopefully get me 60 miles. Nice, they had some sandwiches in there, but mostly junk food and kind of gross shit. But that's what I had to do. Day 14, I'm out of toilet paper. Thank God I found an outhouse. My stomach is a mess right now. I'm not quite sure where the trail is. There's gotta be somewhere around here. There's a lot of snow. I'm shooting to get 45 miles, even though least 2/3 of that is going to be on snow. It's like, it's just so hard. I'm so tired. I haven't slept more than 3 hours in a few days. Almost there. Tomorrow should be the day. It's actually 11:11 on April 19th. I'm just dropping down into the Grand Canyon, crossing the whole Grand Canyon in one night. It's final 60-hour push. After 15 and a half days, I made it to the border. Somehow, it's all over. The new
And you're packing in the same 800 miles it might take people a month or two to hike, you're packing it into 2 weeks. So you're getting the whole experience in a condensed time frame. So it's a very different thing where I think you're gaining some things and getting more appreciation in one way, and then you're losing the social aspect and the ability to go into different towns and have the same experience as other people on the other side. So I do think you lose some, but I don't think you're like missing or not seeing something. You're just seeing and experiencing different things.
There's been so many times when I've been out on the Arizona Trail, which doesn't happen often enough, unfortunately, but where I'll see all uses in a single day. I'll see hikers, I'll see families, I'll see people running, see mountain bikers, and although horseback riders make up less than 5% of trail users, they're still out there. The inclusiveness is really cool. I would like for the trail to become more popular so people can experience these landscapes, because I really think getting people out into the wild convinces them naturally that this is something worth protecting. It's something worth voting for, it's something worth funding, it's something worth volunteering for, because without wild spaces, like, we don't have a civilization. And so much of our civilization has encroached on wilderness and in wild places. So trails, I think, help remind people what's important by delivering you to this wild place not far from home. Our vision is this 800-mile trail that connects mountains and canyons and forests and communities and people. And the people component is something that's often forgotten about, but anybody who's ever done a long-distance trip on any trail knows that the human interaction that happens along the way, those are the things you remember. Those are oftentimes the highlights, even though you're getting out there to get away from fill-in-the-blank life and work and relationship or whatever it may be, that when you're out there, the relationships you have with humans are really powerful. And we realize that trails do connect people.
Gateway communities are the little towns near the trail where people can resupply, and they can use that as a staging area for their experience. And those gateway communities benefit from the people experiencing the trail, and of course, the trail users are always glad to have somewhere where they can get a little bit comfort. Works out well. Superior is connected to this trailhead, the Picket Post trailhead, via the Legends Trail. You could just hike over there. It's only about 2 miles and get, a shower and a pizza or something, and then come back and just continue on from here.
I'm Mary Jo Fales. I live in Superior, Arizona with my husband Al and our dog Annie. I'm a trail angel here for the Arizona Trail folks that are coming through. And I've been here, it'll be 2 years in March of 2020. We thought, well, we had an extra room. We got a washer and dryer. I love to cook, so we just put it out there that, yeah, you can crash at our place. Some of it is my upbringing. When my parents were in a big room of people, they saw it as not strangers, but friends they'd never met. So in a way, I think of all these people walking the trail, strangers, and in a strange town, then I could be there to help them feel at home. It's mostly just asking hikers what your needs are and then have them handy here. We're there to help you with anything. So either a shuttle, a shower, laundry, resupply. You have a wide variety of very interesting folks to help with. Belgian people. We've had people from Germany. We've had entomologists. We've had a lot of people in the Park Service. Our youngest was 16 years old, and our oldest was in their 80s. And it's really interesting when our hikers still stay in contact with us. I like helping out because it's interesting to hear their stories on the trail. I feel like we were put here for a reason, and it's always to help somebody, no matter what kind of needs that they have. It just makes our life meaningful here.
I'm Lorraine Burkett, proprietor of Old Time Pizza in Kearney, the friendliest town on the Arizona Trail. This year we hit our 25th anniversary at Old Time Pizza. Actually been in Kearney since 1974. About 5 years ago, there were a couple of ladies that called and wanted specifically ice cream and beer delivered to them on the trail. And we did that. They got the word out and it just took off from there. So we not only deliver out there, but we also pick up hikers, shuttle them out, whatever's needed. And happy to do it. Love it. Gary, my husband, or I have hiked everything from Summer Haven to Blue Ridge. I think the fact that we've hiked ourselves is partially what encourages us to help others because we've done it.
It was just to see that there's other people out there, maybe a little bit like me, that like to hike, that feel the spirit of the ancient ones in the mountains and the canyons, that have gone a lot of the same places I've gone, and we can check our experiences against each other, and to meet all those people and talk to them is just interesting. And I always learn more than I teach, I'm sure.
We've seen it grow as word has got out and more people are doing this trail. The more people you have on there, the more people will come into town, but that's good for the communities. We have tried to educate the people in the area about the Arizona Trail through a couple of different events. 5 to 10 years ago, we had invited the whole community to teach them about the trail. And we had this banner made and invited hikers as they came in to sign in.
We meet people from all over the world, and it's been a real exciting learning experience. There's just been all kinds of inspirational people. This is our trail, and we're quite proud of it.
I had such a wonderful experience with the Arizona Trail Angels. A lot of the Trail Angels I met, I was the first hiker they ever hosted, so for them it was like a really cool new thing. And yeah, they were just really open about it, really open to learning. Everyone was just so kind and so excited that people were flying from literally outside of the country, from across the country, to come walk across their state of Arizona.
The number of people that are coming out to help the hikers they've come out of the woodwork. There are people everywhere now. I think what I'm noticing is that we're a pretty tight-knit group of angels. We really do work together, and I like that. I mean, it makes it fun.
The hiking community totally educated me and totally set my place up as what it is today. Anything I can do to try to make it easier for people to continue on, I'm more than happy to do it. The trail is better than it's ever been before as far as signage and condition, and they've addressed a lot of critical areas of water issues, and people are making it and doing well. You know, it's really quite impressive.
It's such a beautiful trail. It's our trail, and if you're going to use it, you have to give back. You have to, if you want to go out and use Great Trail, the Great Trail doesn't maintain itself. It needs to be maintained. So I felt it was important to give back to it. You go out with great people and you have a good time and you fix the trail and you feel good about it, and you just keep giving more, and the more you participate, the more you realize you want to be out there.
Most people just assume that trails happen, and then the more you get involved with trail organizations or trail activities, then you start to realize that no, there's a lot that goes into it, both the construction and then the maintenance of the trail takes an enormous amount of effort. And so I think getting involved with trail organizations like ours is really important. It's an enormous amount of effort to make a small impact. Now imagine doing that for 800 miles through the most rugged terrain in the West, through mountains and canyons and forests and valleys. So maintaining the Arizona Trail is this massive undertaking, and the only way it's possible is through thousands and thousands of volunteers that get out there every year. We all need to work together to protect these places. I think public lands, trails, forests, parks are constantly under attack, especially recently. So the more that we can come together as a powerful outdoor community, aligned, I think we stand a chance of preserving these places.
I think I was 77 years old when I completed the Arizona National Scenic Trail. In my community, I, with another co-steward, we gather together volunteers and bribe them with treats to come out on work days. And so we have like 5 work sessions each year on the Oracle Passage of the Arizona National Scenic Trail. And we've gotten more and more people committed to doing that. And then we also support Seeds of Stewardship, which is an opportunity to take young people out on the trail to be able to do environmental education and get enthused about being outdoors, protecting the outdoors, and volunteering in the outdoors.
When I did the trail, I did it by myself, because nobody else was crazy enough to do it with me. It just amazed me. And as I was doing it, I was just so proud and wanted to do all I could for the Arizona Trail Association. I enjoyed those that went before me to lay it out. These are the people the stewards. They're the ones that are taking care of the trail that's out there. It's amazing the people that get involved. That's why I guess it's so great to me. The Arizona Trail Association is just an amazing organization of volunteers throughout the whole state. Everybody's willing to go help somewhere. I remember when they first started, we were having a tough time finding 43 stewards. Now it's multiplied because we got more people are stepping up to voluntarily go out and do that and give everybody else the opportunity to enjoy their little segment, their little piece.
It's nice to be involved in something that's like a legacy project that's going to last 50 or 100 or hopefully 500 years beyond the time that I have to work on it. And I think a lot of trail stewards who are involved with trail maintenance feel that way too. They're caring for a mile of trail for 5 or 10 years, and they're going to pass it on to somebody else who's going to pass it on to somebody else. And hundreds of years from now, hopefully, we have this trail in place that people can experience these landscapes. If you look at the history of like the National Trail System, National Scenic Trails, especially like Pacific Crest Trail, Appalachian Trail, and now Arizona Trail, which are 3 of the only 11 that are complete, a lot of those have been traditionally funded like with federal dollars, U.S. Forest Service, National Park Service, and those funds are disappearing, or almost disappeared entirely. And so the importance of well-established organizations like the Arizona Trail Association or Pacific Crest Trail Association are really vital, because if we want these long-distance trails to survive into the future, it doesn't take a village, it takes like thousands of villages to kind of help keep them alive and well. And it's something it's easily forgotten when you're out there on the trail and you're following a path and you're just looking around enjoying the landscape. That's when trails work, and that's what we strive for, is you don't think about trail conditions, you don't think about erosion events, you don't think about hazards on the trail. We try to make sure that trail stewards are out there clearing those and keeping the pathway open so that people can experience the landscape. And that's what I love about trails, is that they take you to places you normally wouldn't go. This trail's worth fighting for. It's worth protecting.
You know, one of the best things about working on the trail as a volunteer is you get back a lot. You get to find out about places you might not have known, and of course you make friends too. There's sections of the trail where the trail is I probably would have never got to go camp, but because we were working on the trail there, I found out this is a great place. It's very fulfilling to work on the Arizona Trail. Sometimes the work is a little hard, but you always feel like you get back more than you put in. Very proud to be a part of the organization. It's, in my mind, a very positive experience, great people, and a great vision. For me, it's been a really important part of my life because I feel like it's one of the few things I've done in my life that really made a difference.
Bikes have been like a core all my life. I liked them when I was younger. I mean, like talking little kid to I started racing BMX bikes at 12 years old. I did that for 21 years, 78 to 99. And then in there, like say early 90s, some friends had crossed over to mountain biking. The first wave of mountain biking took us to the trails. But it never really crossed my mind like how these came to be. We were always on this one trail, whether it be down here in the Canellos or up in, you know, up by Flag or wherever we were in the state, this trail, the Arizona Trail, I'm like, what is this? In the back of my brain, it was gnawing at me like, what do I do for society? My brother helps kids out that have 0.0 chances in life. My mom dedicated her whole life to people with disabilities, you know, so it's like, what do I do? And there's a newsletter, they're asking for help fixing a sign, or does anyone have a welder or something? It's like, yeah, I do. And I answered, and then from then I just volunteered and hope it keeps going the rest of my years. When I was hired or won the trust of the Arizona Trail to make the gates, I just decided upon myself to put the logo in there. If these things have become iconic, it's all happen chance. That was never part of the plan. It's helping substantiate the trail in a way that I think it's that people's regard and respect for the trail, and it's building a name for the trail. It helps with trash. It helps with all those levels of respect that really add up. The more the trail becomes known and the more the trail becomes respected, we're more reassured it'll be. No guarantees in life. It'll sustain. I've had a good life, and it's my interest to give back to society. If I can go to bed knowing I contributed, I don't need anything more than that. What I believe in, I wish this world cared. I really do. It matters, and I really believe it.
Dale actually made the comment, which I think kind of sums it up, that the Arizona Trail connects people and places. And it's a very simple comment, but there's a lot of truth in it. People and places get together where normally they wouldn't ever get together. And usually there's a big payoff with a great view or good camping, you know, people are glad that they came out there. So whether you're working on the trail or just going out to enjoy it, it brings so much to people's enjoyment of life. You know, it's a place they can go and have 800 miles to enjoy.
In the land of Arizona, through desert, heat, or snow, winds a trail for folks to follow from Utah to Old Mexico. It's the Arizona Trail, a path through the great Southwest, a diverse track through wood and stone. Your spirit it will test. Some will push and pedal, and some will hike or run. Others will ride their horse or mule. What else could be more fun? Oh, sure, you'll sweat and blister. You'll feel the miles each day. You'll shiver at the loneliness. Your feet and seat will pay. But you'll see moonlight on the borderlands. You'll see stars on the Mogollon. You'll feel the warmth of winter sun and be thrilled straight through to bone. The aches and pains will fade away. You'll feel renewed and whole. You'll never be the same again with Arizona in your soul. Along the Arizona Trail, a reverence and peace you'll know. Through deserts, canyons, and mountains, from Utah to Old Mexico.
Oh, that's a big bug. Hold on.